When you think of the worst dad in anime, who do you think of? Let me guess. You think of Shou Tucker. You think he's the worst. I'm sorry. He is not the worst dad in anime history. And if you think that, you're looking at a lot of anime dads with rose-colored glasses, my dude, because there are worse. I'm just saying. Here's a few that I think are either on par or worse, all right? Shinji's dad. The amount of crap that he did that just emotionally abused and just psychologically destroyed Shinji. And for what? The guy was nefarious. He didn't even treat the people around him nice. This guy, I'm sorry. I think he's worse than Shou Tucker. Or at least on par. I'm just saying. Sure, he didn't turn his son into a hybrid chimera, but man. Sanji's dad. Sanji's dad, in my opinion, is definitely worse than Shou Tucker. He also experimented on his children for his own gains and means. But what's worse about it is that he not only did it for years upon years, but he did not love those children. Especially if they didn't meet his, expectations. The things that he did to Sanji is stuff that I feel like even Shou Tucker would be like, dude, what? He was trying to basically raise the perfect soldier warrior, and because Sanji wasn't meeting his, expectations, he abused him, he isolated him, locked him up, and then eventually just shunned him and kicked him to the curb, and then later tried using him again. That is terrible. Just the worst. Even worse than that, Endeavor. And this is going to be controversial because I know we have Endeavor apologists, but I am so sorry. But I do think that Endeavor is worse than Shou Tucker. Because listen, once again, before Shou Tucker did what he did, he loved that child. He took care of that child. He never, ever abused or laid a hand on that child. Like I said, that child was loved up until that point. Again, not saying Shou Tucker's a great dad. He's a terrible father. But this guy here decided, I am going to take every child I have and I'm going to try to form an experiment. I am going to give each and every child and my wife a different form of abuse. If they don't live up to my expectations, that's too bad. You're going to get abused in another way. He was a crappy father, and I'm not saying that his actions are 100% what led Dobby to be the way he was, but it definitely contributed. And he knows that. At least he, owns up that, crap, I messed up. But he doesn't, in my opinion, deserve forgiveness. And I don't think abuser deserves forgiveness if they ask for it and they realize, it's whatever. But I'm sorry, this guy is worse. He is so much worse. And then we got Gaara's dad. This guy, in my opinion, is the worst dad. Okay, he's the worst. There's probably ones who are even worser than him, and I just can't think of it right now, honestly. But on the top of my mind, this guy comes to mind. Because this guy screwed over his son before he was even born. And cursed him. And then, when his son became basically super powerful, he started to view him as a monster and repeatedly made attempts to kill his son. You know who wouldn't make repeated attempts to kill his daughter? Shou Tucker. I'm just saying. Everything that this guy did from the start made him basically irredeemable. He's the worst dad in anime, in my opinion. I don't know. Can you guys think of somebody worse than him? I'm sure there is. Again, I haven't watched a bazillion different anime, so I'm sure there are worse. But, this guy, in my opinion, at the very least, is way, way worse than Shou Tucker.